Hi everybody, Adam here. Welcome back to our Lego room. Really excited today. We're putting our new Union Pacific locomotive through its paces around the layout here. This is a locomotive that we purchased from Bricks Northwest back in May at Bricks Cascade. Really excited about it. I think it looks awesome. It came as is, but without a motor, and I've gone and put a powered up motor and battery box in there. So we'll see how that performs. And it's going to be pulling the Union Pacific train. I've taken the usual Union Pacific locomotive out of service for the time being while I get the power functions motor situation fixed up with that. So it'll be cool to see how this particular locomotive does. Should work really well. Love the look of it. Great decals they put on it on the front there and down the side. Really love the cab area. I think they've done an excellent job with that. So let's put it through its paces and see how it does. So we have the train running. I have to say that's probably one of the biggest gaps between an intro and an actual video that I've had. We had a whole slew of issues come up, but I think we've got things working pretty well now. We are making complete laps without any issues, so we'll kind of watch here. I'll talk you guys through what happened, the various things that we fixed, and we'll see if anything else pops up. So first thing to note, I ended up putting in a second powered up train motor. So there are two train motors on the locomotive. With just one train motor, it was not able to really move around the way that I would hope that it would. It had a lot of issues. I think part of it weight, part of it just power, which kind of makes sense. It's a long train. There's a lot going on, but the second train motor seems to have addressed all of that. Train's moving pretty smoothly. No real issues in starting it up, so that is good to see, and it's making it through all the corners. It's a little slow at the moment. I'll talk more about that in a moment, but overall happy with the way that it is moving, and those two train motors should give it a fair bit of juice. So I think that will probably be okay ultimately, not a bad change. So two motors in there. It's running off the one battery box. That's obviously going to impact the runtime for the locomotive. Not sure how severely yet, but we'll see how that goes. One thing I did notice with the train motors going in there on the underside of the locomotive, there's a little bit of friction, especially on the back one when it's turning corners. So it can actually pull the second train car off of, or I guess the first train car, second car overall right behind the locomotive, can actually pull that car off the track a little bit because it's, friction. It doesn't move super smoothly to go around the corners yet. I think that will improve over time. Just needs a little bit of wear. I could probably do a little bit of sanding to make sure that we had a bit of extra play on the rotation for the train wheels under the locomotive there, so it didn't pull or resist the second car making it around the corners the way that they want to. I'll show you that up close in a moment. The other thing that I was noticing is that on the outer track going past the T-junction down here, we were getting a whole bunch of derailments, and I don't entirely know why. We're getting better performance now on the inner track rather than the outer track going through the corner there. Could be that the bogies on the train cars themselves, so the wheel sets are not, or I guess are basically too loose. They're too sort of slidey back and forth, and so they have a bit of resistance to turning back fully to the sort of straight, and so they sometimes can catch the switch and go over to the other side even when they're not supposed to. I don't know if that really makes sense. That's kind of the way it looks like or seems like to me. I'm gonna have to take that T-junction apart again at some point here and just poke at it and see if there's anything that could be catching the train cars, but I'm pretty sure it's just that the wheel sets after coming through the corner over there are not straightening out completely, and so being at an angle, they have a chance to catch the switch over there. So we'll have to play with that a little bit and see where we go from there. In the process of fiddling with the derailments and the pulling power of the locomotive, I did end up swapping all the train cars in this train back to magnetic couplers. I swapped out a couple of magnetic couplers that were in there that had a bit of, if you can see it on the camera here, we focus properly on the magnet. You can kind of see it on there. One of the magnets was a little scuffed up and was not holding as well. To see if there's something we can do to sort of clean that surface off and get it back to being nice and grippy. Might just be a cleaning thing. I'm not sure if there's anything else going on with it. So we did the magnet swap there, and we just swapped all the KD couplers back to magnets just to give things the best chance of success coming through the T-junction and just in general. I don't think it's ultimately necessary. I think we could go back to the KD couplers for all those back cars, but I was just trying to remove variables and look for ways to improve the runtime for the train and just remove any little oddities that might, have a tendency to pop up when we are running the train out of the show. So as you can kind of see here, we're getting good behavior at the moment. Things are moving smoothly. So the only major issue left in my mind at the moment is the speed of the train. So I'm gonna try bumping up the speed again, and we'll see if we end up with the second car derailment issue that I mentioned. So we are running faster now and things seem to be behaving just kind of what I expected. I figured once I got, a half dozen loops around the layout, any of that sort of friction issue that I was experiencing should just kind of go away, and it'll kind of just wear itself into a good spot. Seems like that is playing out the way that I thought. So we are moving noticeably faster and everything seems pretty smooth. Really happy with that. So the only oddity that I have that I have to keep in mind when I'm running this train both here and out at a train show is that the two powered up motors run in opposite directions. So for the first motor, I need to press down on the control pad, and for the second motor, I need to press up. I'm just making sure that I press down the same number of times as what I press up on the other side. I think that will keep things fairly balanced between the two motors so that they're both contributing the same amount and we're not sort of overly taxing one motor versus the other. We'll see if anything pops up there, but happy with how it is performing now and happy to be able to have what looks like a workable solution for getting the Union Pacific to run out at the train show. I think that'll be great while we get the power functions fixed up for the other locomotive that we have. And ultimately, that'll give us 2 Union Pacific locomotives that can work around our layout here, which is going to be awesome. And don't worry, we won't be stopping at 2. There's plans for several other Union Pacific locomotives, so that will be fun over time to continue to add to our collection of these great looking locomotives. And I have to say, definitely I think that this was a great locomotive pickup. I love the shape of it. And like I said, they did an excellent job with the decal work on there. Really cool addition to our collection. And we will definitely be looking at picking up more locomotives and train cars in general from Bricks Northwest in the future. Now, the next job for us will be to get the Rio Grande locomotive up and running that we got from them. I'm hoping it won't be too bad to get that motorized and functional. So we will let you guys know how that goes when we work on that. But for now, super happy that the Union Pacific is running around the layout. And the only sort of, gotcha that I'm going to just need to be a little careful about and keep an eye on is that T-junction, we'll be taking that out to the train show. So I just want to make sure there are no oddities for that when it's running out at the show. So we'll poke at that a bit more, but really happy with how everything's come together. It was, like I said, there was a lot of sort of troubleshooting and various things that went on as to get this. Oh boy, there we go. We are disconnected. So typical that just as you're about to wrap up a video, the issue does pop up again. Like I said, though, I think this is mostly just because those train wheels underneath the locomotive are still really new and it's got a bit of friction, which is preventing it from allowing that second car to turn as much as it wants to when it is going through corners or sometimes through switches and different things. But I think that will just keep going away and it doesn't really show up at the slower speeds. So what I'm probably going to do is just let this run all the way down to the end of the battery and just let it get a little bit of run time in here and just let everything sort of get worked in enough that we ideally avoid any issues when we're out at the show. Because yeah, it seems to be working the way we expect now. I am also curious to see what the runtime is like for the locomotive with the 2 train motors pulling from the one battery box, I should say. But I think we're now safe to end it. I think that we're in a good spot here. We'll see if we need to do any more troubleshooting around the train and we will poke a bit more at the T-junction, but looking forward to being able to run the Union Pacific train out at the train show. And if you guys haven't subscribed to the channel, please make sure to do so that you don't miss out on any of our upcoming videos. And thank you very much for watching. We will see you again soon. Take care. Bye.